and I'm going to share a few things with you. So I am so excited about these little dolls. And those of us in GIS have been having way too much fun with it. And so these are some of my favorites. Now, some of them are my heroes, and some I just met because they've put these dolls out there, and it's like, oh, they're speaking to my soul, and now I need to go forward. So if you have a favorite, I want you to put the number in the chat. And then if you have one on your own, put number 6 if you want yours, and put a link in there so that I can go find you, because these are way too cool to keep quiet. Now, going through this presentation, you're going to see a little blue code at the very bottom. What is that? Well, at some point in your life, you're probably going to want to need a co-pilot. That's me. I'm going to be your co-pilot through this journey of Survey123. And when you want to do that, I have a couple options. We have a free DIY Survey123 Padawan Academy. And what does that look like? That looks like pre-recorded videos that are going to get dropped into your email every couple days so that you can build on your skills. And then through the month of May, I'm giving you free 30-minute trainings with me on Tuesday mornings. And all you have to do is show up and you can ask your questions. It's live, so we're going to be doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's only for our beginners because we have special groups for folks who are above beginners. So then we have our weekly coaching calls. That's $25 a month, and you get 30 minutes every week, whether that's a 4-week or a 5-week month. These are great when you're working on projects because then every week you can come in and you can ask your questions. Then I have weekly coaching calls plus training, and those are for people who need to up their skills a little faster. So in the next couple of weeks, what we're going to have is we're going to have a live Survey123 Beginner Academy, which is different than the free one. And then we're going to do weekly coaching, or then we have the weekly, I just got lost. Sorry about that. Let's try one more time. May the 4th be with you, my friends. Weekly coaching calls, that's weekly, $25 for the whole month. The weekly coaching calls plus classes are for those of you who want to learn. And so what we have in May is we have the beginner live class, normally $159, and we go through everything in a step-by-step fashion. Then you also get access to our Power Automate class, which is coming up at the end of the month. We also have, I saw somebody came in, hey, wait. Anyways, the weekly coaching calls plus classes. And so the last class we'll be doing in May is going to be a Survey123 field maps mashup, where we're going to put both of those layers in one hosted service. Then we're going to push them into the other because that's what we like to do. We like to do magic over here. How did I get here? All right, my friends, this is a lot of fun. So have you ever found a slide that just speaks to your soul? So ChatGPT helped me with this one, and it knows me. And so what we did is I told ChatGPT what I needed, and they said, hey, with all your history, this one will probably speak to your soul. And I said, yes, that's perfect. And then I just put some information into it. So what you're looking at here is I started my undergrad in 2014. And the reason why I started my undergrad there was I turned 40. And at 40, I told my husband, I said, hey, I really like to go back to school, but I'm 40. And he goes, Michelle, how old are you going to be in 4 years? I said, oh, that's a good question. So if you ever have somebody who asks you about, more education, just ask them how old they're going to be in 4 years. And I said, ooh, I could be 44 with a degree. Or I could be 44 without a degree. And I thought, yeah, I think I'm going back to school. So I did my bachelor's program, and I did it in business because I love to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know that business meant you're going to school to build businesses for somebody else. And that degree was kind of useless for me because I want to build my own business. And so I had one teacher. I went to the University of Redlands, and I had one teacher, and he was amazing. He was my GIS professor for that time. And we are from Redlands, and headquarters for Esri is in Redlands. And so we have a lot of professors that come over and teach us things. And so At that time, I took my one GIS class, and then they said, hey, my professor said, hey, Michelle, why don't you go into the MS-GIS program? Because I'm supposed to keep you over here and have you do the MBA with a certificate in GIS. And he goes, you're not going to like that. And he was right. I don't like that. So I ended up going there. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Even having 2 children, that was still the hardest mentally that I ever had to do. 2019, I got my first job, and that was at Southern California Edison. I was a contract worker, so I made $50,000 out of college with no benefits. And, that was great. It was a great stepping stone. And basically take whatever you can get when you're just getting out of school, because it's going to help you get to where you're going. My second job was, that's ERM. That's where I am now, Environmental Resource Management Group. And so what does that look like to me today? That was fun. I already had known Survey123, and I just kept going. 2025, I went to SCOG just the other day, last week, and it was a small convention, about 300 people, 350 people. And that was really cool. That's the first time I've ever been to something that's, it's been in the community. The community was small, so I had time for 3 days to go network with people and get to know who they were. And I loved it. I had a blast. With all of those, you can see the top one in the bottom blue line. The bottom blue line is where those hiccups came in. So 2020 was a hiccup for a lot of us. For me, it wasn't so bad. I had already worked for Southern California Edison. And so we were still working. We were doing it remote. So most of my office space was outside in my garden. And I loved that. That was amazing. In 2022, things changed. I had a car accident. And in that car accident, I had a severe concussion. And so working through a concussion in a GIS field is a really difficult thing to do. And I didn't have any guidance on how to do that, because my doctor said, hey, Michelle, you probably have a concussion. It'll take you 6 months to flush it out. I'm all, okay, well, that sounded really nonchalant. So I'm going to go back to work the week after. Not a good idea. I really wish I would have had a mentor on that one. What does that look like? Well, you know how you go to you have all your things that you're working on, all the tech that you've built on. So, you know that your certain files are in the OneDrive. You know that things are going on where you have things on an M drive. That's like your GIS data that all the GIS folks get to. Then you have project files, and oh my goodness, there's a lot out there. But being able to learn that in increments is a beautiful thing. Well, I went back to work and I didn't know where anything was. I didn't know how to sync I didn't know how to work my OneDrive anymore. I had data that was synced to a OneDrive, and I deleted it, thinking that, I was cleaning up my files, because that's what you do when you have a concussion. You think everything's beautiful and you're not going to break anything. I deleted something. I actually deleted things that were connected in our group OneDrive. The GDB that held all of our stuff was in there. Luckily, we had a lot of different flavors of that all over our drive, and we could rebuild it. It was not a pretty sight, but that's what a concussion looks like. What is Survey123? Well, Survey123, it's an app on your phone, and we design it, and then our field crew can go out and they can take inspections or do inventory, those types of things. And it's really friendly. And then they can push that to the cloud. And once it goes to the cloud, we can build dashboards, and we can do work orders, and we can automate everything. And that's what I help you through, because this is not an easy process. This is something that takes some time. How else can Survey123 look? Well, this is the grid theme, and it's on an iPad, because iPads have a lot of real estate. And so what we can do is we can make little boxes and ask all our questions so that the team doesn't have to scroll. We also have button mode. So button mode's great if you have just a little phone, because it's pretty, it's fun. You push a button, you answer some questions, you get out of it. It's really, really awesome. How does the workflow work for Survey123 Connect? And the reason I say that is, when I was brand new to Survey123, everything was in beta. ArcGIS Online, ArcGIS Pro and Survey123. I thought Survey123 went to the cloud, you take data, and now I can download a spreadsheet. That's really what I thought it was. So now, 8 years later, I have this diagram to help you figure out where you really are. So build everything in Survey123 Connect. You're going to push that into the cloud, which is your ArcGIS Online. The field crew can use it, and then they push that data back to ArcGIS Online, which is AGOL for those that don't know. And then you can pull that data down into ArcGIS Pro. The great thing about that is now you can use it for analysis. You can do the same things you can do in ArcGIS Pro with your Survey123 data. And you just need to be careful, and you need to know that domains are going to be different when you field calculate. So keep that in mind. If you're a little confused, but you really want to learn this, go to that QR code, and that's the Survey123. That's how you can work with me. The very first option is the Padawan Academy. It's free. And this month, what we're doing is we're giving you classes. We're giving you 30-minute Q&A classes to work through this at that moment. So this is the first time we've ever given the free classes. So get in there and sign up. And then you'll have that active question and answer as you're working through the Padawan Academy. You can binge watch the Padawan Academy, and it's going to take about 2 hours. But you're going to want that last video that you're going to do. You're going to want to kind of figure that out, because that's the harder one, is the last one that you're going to get to. And then we're going to show you a little demo. I love that. Okay, so let's close that out. I'm going to open up Survey123 Connect. This is what that, just to let you know, that's what that screenshots get. That's the blue QR code. That's what you're going to get. And the top one is that Padawan Academy. Now, your Survey123 Connect probably won't look like that. Because you may not have, if you're new, then this is going to be the first time you've seen this. So it'll be blank. And then you just come up here to say New Survey. And you can say, May the 4th or whatever you want to call it. Let's do this. Let's just say test, because I'm going to delete this as soon as we're done. And I do advanced template. If anybody knows the difference between advanced and standard, would you let me know? Because I've used this for 8 years and I don't have a good answer for you. I always like advanced. I just do it. They look the same. They feel the same. But I'm sure they're different. Anyways, you're going to get this GUI. And what I like to do, especially when I'm teaching, is I like to put this over here. And I'm going to put this over here. And that's how I like to do that. Now, this is just a demo of how we're going to go through things. So this is how it looks when you first get in there. Now, the great thing is, as you save this over here, the GUI is going to change. So let me show you what that looks like. If I do a copy and paste, I'm just going to paste this down here. You're going to notice that these turn red. Why do they turn red? Well, because you can't have, this is the code that Survey123 uses, and they all have to be different. So even if I change this to 2, then you'll notice it changes. That's just how this is set up. So if I say 3, and we can say test, now if I hit save, watch what happens. All right. The GUI updates. Now, isn't that a beautiful way for you to design something? I love that. It's very, very quick. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through this side panel. Then I'm going to take you through all of these tabs down here at the bottom. And that's going to conclude our today's live demo. So right now, when you design your Survey123 for the very first time, this spreadsheet's going to show up. But the next time you open ArcGIS or Survey123 Connect, it's only going to show you this GUI page. So you're going to have to click this spreadsheet right here, and then it's just going to open it up. It's going to be beautiful. Here's this update icon right here. This is great when you're adding a thumbnail or pictures, and you need the software to connect with those. We show that more in the Padawan Academy. So use that blue code that I gave you earlier, and you can find that. Right here, this is the files that it actually creates for you. And now that you have all these files, you don't have to do anything with them. Just know that this is where your spreadsheet is that it's opening over here in Connect. This is a media folder, and that's where you're going to drop pictures in for your thumbnails. All of this is more, you can find out more in the Padawan Academy, and that's free. Let me know if you need the code, and I'll let you in. Let's see. Tools. Now, if you don't have tools on your Survey123 Connect, which one of my Padawans didn't, and I said, oh, that's interesting. So we did a deep dive and figured out that if you don't have Python, a flavor of Python on your computer, this tool won't show up because that tool uses Python to work. It makes a lot of sense. Now, if you have ArcGIS Pro, Python's included. This tool right here, this is what you're going to use. I use this tool for most of the time, is updating this form right here. The great thing is when you update that form, or if you're confused about why you update the form, go to the Padawan Academy and I'll help you through that. The publish button is there when you need it. You're not there yet because we haven't done anything yet. And if you want to build your first survey, do the Padawan Academy. We build your first survey, we publish your first survey, we share everything, and then what we do is we go in and do a repeat on the next survey. So you're going to get a whole lot of information just taking that class, and you're going to love it. Now what you're going to do is come down here to the bottom. I'm going to make this really big. And then what we're going to do is go through. So this is the GUI, and that always shows up first. Then you come to details, and this is where you're going to do your thumbnail. Your title is going to be whatever you put it in there, the summary, and then your descriptions. Once you publish all that, then this all is attached, and it's a beautiful thing. Coming over here to options, that's before you publish. You want to do this. I'm going to tell you, I always turn this one on. I don't know why it's not on, but always, always, always update your Survey123s for your end users. And this is great because when you add a field, you want to push that down to the end users. Now, I always use the inbox, and I always turn off the sent box. You might like the sent box, but you can't do both. And it's really confusing. I got into the weeds. I'm sorry. I saw that there were people on here, and I thought, I'm going to give them a lot of information. If you need to learn more about this, go to the Padawan Academy and we'll get you all taken care of. It's survey123jedi.com/offer. And offer. Anyways, one of those. You can get in there for free. Let's see what else we're doing here. Okay, maps down at the bottom. Now you can figure out what base map you want your end user to use by coming over here and clicking the base map. You can also add your own base map. That's a more difficult class. And what you can do is you can ping me if you want a difficult class. I'll actually send that one to you because I have it. I'll send you the document. Anyways, you can come in here and you can change it. So let's do blueprint just because it's the most annoying. And that's what it's going to look like when your users go out and use it. Media, you're not going to need anything in here right away, but we do show you in the Padawan Academy how to do that. Your linked content. Once you publish this, you will now have linked content, and that's everything that's in AGWell, ArcGIS Online. Scripts, you're not there yet because this is the beginner demo. Here's your schema. We don't even get in there. I don't get in there. I'm just going to tell you it's all there. It's at the very end if you need it, but for the most part, you'll just use these first ones. Now, I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to bring this up. So this is where we were, and now I'm going to show you what's here at the tabs down at the bottom. So we already built this out just a little bit. We just added that one for anybody who's new. Then we have choices, and this is your domains. And there are things in here that we do. In the Padawan Academy, we'll set this up correctly because there's things that will help your brain if you do it correctly. Settings, this is where you're going to change the title. So maybe we say test, we want that one. Now I can go back in here, click over here, make that one smaller again. Okay, so you see how everything's looking here, and we have test up here because that's what we named it. but the title is not test. So if we say save, it's test up here now. So that was pretty easy. It's an easy way to do everything. Right here, go ahead and leave everything the same right now. If you want to figure out how to do that part, you can do the Padawan Academy. Just a reminder, we're doing free Q&A for those folks who need to do that. Version down here. Oh, you see how my tabs are hidden? If you take those 3 dots and wait for your little lever to go back and forth, you can scroll, you can push that really close. Version, that's what version you built the survey on. So if yours says 314, which we've had people do that, you're going to want to upgrade that probably. Let me know. I'll show you how to, actually, we show you how to do that in the Padawan Academy. It's using this tool right here. Question types. So right now we have question types is this A right here. Let me get rid of that. This A right here, that's your question types. And that's all the different flavors that you have. Now, if you come over here to survey, that's where that's going to go. Type. It makes it really easy. And now what you can do is, something I like to do is, I like when I was new, is kind of go in here and cut and paste this and paste it in here somewhere and add some text in here and maybe tell it what you did over here. I know I'm getting in the weeds. Sorry, I just went there. And then put some text in here and figure out what this stuff does. It's going to tell you when you save it if you didn't do everything correctly, but that's also something you can do through the Padawan Academy. If you're not sure, it'll all come together really nicely. So that was question types. Here's appearance right here. And when you do appearance, you come over here to appearance, and that's where all that's going to go. Now, the great thing is, if you use text and you go to appearance, you're going to have a specific drop down here. If you use this select one and you come over here to appearance, you're going to have a different drop down menu, which is fantastic because then it like halves all your choices that you need to make. Now, this was a mess, and sorry about that. We'll keep going. Okay, so that was appearance. You can do the same thing. You can kind of take some of these and play with them while you're in there. Then go to field types. Field types, I don't really use these I don't use them at all. I might have used null at some point in time, but I have a different hack for that now. But once you publish your first Survey123, then all you're going to have to do, Esri already puts this all together, so I don't touch it. References, this is your code. So if you wanted, excuse me, if you wanted test to be bold and you wanted it red, you're going to use some HTML code down here and put that information. And this is what it's going to look like. So say you wanted that, just cut and paste it, put it over here. And then I would take this out. Uh-oh, try again. References. Okay, I'm going to copy it here because it didn't like the wholesale. And now when I hit save, it's going to say, so it says test over here right now. And now you see what happens. So now you know that H1 is really big. That's your header 1. And if you wanted header 4, I don't know if there's a header 4. I don't remember. I'm thinking it might be tiny. Yeah, it's just tiny. So that's how that works. And you're going to love using all of that. And then we have reserve. Now, what does reserve do? That's all the pieces that connect to the code on the back end. And you can't use those. So you'll notice I have that. Now, if I went over here and I put it in name, you'll see that I get this little warning sign. Come over here and it says, you know, there's all kinds of errors. If you really, really like that name, you can put an underscore there and it'll fix it because that is not pieces of the real code. So you're going to love that. That's what I have for you today. It took us, I don't even know when we start. It took us half an hour. Very good. So if you need anything, let me know. Let me show you that QR code one more time and what we're doing. So this is, the QR code is going here, and it's going to give you options to do the free DIY. Then you sign in, and there's an automated email that comes to you. Coaching call. It's going to tell you some information. You basically have 30 minutes of coaching calls every single week. And then we have the weekly coaching calls plus training. And I call it Friends Don't Let Friends Build Survey123 Alone. That's a lot of fun for me. Makes me smile. Anyways, it's a 3-month group coaching call, plus all the live trainings that I do. Right now, I'm doing 3 in May. And so what does that look like? I have the Beginner Padawan Academy, and it's live, and you get to ask questions live, and we get to work through any issues that you have. The other one is Power Automate. I'm power automating the Survey123s into an email for your stakeholders. And then we're doing field map. It's the Survey123 field maps mashup. And what is that? That's taking all the information you need for both apps, and we're sticking it all into one hosted service, and they talk to each other. And it's pretty amazing. We liked it that way because we need field maps so that the field crew can feel comfy. But we wanted Survey123 because it's sexy and it does all the things we need it to do. So I hope that you've enjoyed our time together, and have a spatial day. May the 4th be with you, my friend. Have a wonderful day.